Well, hello there, YouTube. It's Monday, June 3rd, 2024, and it's my daughter's birthday. Yes, it is, but not only is it her birthday, but my 560 SL now has fuel. And this video is confirmation that we now have that fuel going all the way up to the distributor. So that means I'm going to do another live stream this coming Saturday, June 8th, 2024 at 9 a.m. Arizona time. You guys can figure out your time. So, come out and join me for that because I think it's going to be a great time. You either love me or you hate me. Both of you guys are going to enjoy that live stream, I think it should be a good time. And with that said, I also wrote a song just for that particular live stream. And that song will debut right at the beginning of the live stream. Before I personally go live, that little segment in the very beginning is a song that I wrote, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Pay attention. No one has heard it. As a matter of fact, it's not even quite done yet, but yeah, it'll be there regardless. I'm going to throw it in there and we'll just see how it goes. All right. So again, it'll be this Saturday, June 8th, 2024, 9 a.m. Arizona time. I think that's it. I just want to get this video going. It's kind of a long one. I put in a timeline. You can jump to wherever you want within that timeline. It kind of picks up prior. As you guys know, I wanted to go live. And right before I was ready to go live, I couldn't go live because I couldn't get fuel up to the fuel distributor. I had to rebuild that. I pulled the tank, all that. I've done all the videos in it. I put it together a playlist on this fuel delivery system, basically. You can go ahead and find all those other videos in there. All right, I got to stop rambling along. Let's just get this video going, and I'll see you guys on Saturday. So these are the fuel pumps. I have two fuel pumps in the 560. Looks like these are 10 millimeter. There's a total of 3. There's 2 on this side and then 1 over here on this side. Here's that one. I'm using a wobble. There, now I can see everything nice and easy. Next, you'll just remove those little rubber boots, just slide them up. And then this is a 7 millimeter. There we go. By the way, I don't have a battery in the vehicle. There's a nut, like a star washer, I'll show you. And then we got the same thing, a little star washer. I can see you could lose that. So there we go. The way that this thing really works is that the fuel comes from the tank down this one, goes into the first fuel pump. And there's a screen on your tank side before it gets here. It goes into this pump, then comes out, and then goes into this pump. And then this pump ends up sending it to the fuel filter and accumulator, which the accumulator is way up there, That line comes out of your filter, comes up here, goes up, comes around, and ends up right up here. And then it goes up, connects into this right here. Then continues on. Goes into that clamp, goes over to there, like that, and then like this, and continue on. It's this third one over. There's 3 of them here, 1, 2, and 3. The third one closest, it comes over and it goes all the way up to the front of the vehicle. Let's go look at the front. So what I've done here is I've taken the line that goes from the fuel pumps and would normally go into this fuel filter. Actually, this is a fuel filter before it enters the fuel distributor. But I took that same line, brought it out here, attached a hose, and into a bucket. All right, this is what we've got. So I've got that tank, which I just showed you, and here's the power supply, which I don't know if it's going to be enough, and then my pigtails that I made. Let's see if anything at all happens. Here it is. I don't see any fuel coming out. Huh. All right, now we'll see. This is a battery that I have now. The ground is hooked up. Everything's ready. Let's see what happens. I don't see anything happening. No fuel is making it to the front. So, I've got a problem. So yeah, I've got a problem. Exactly. And that problem is I don't have fuel. And without fuel and spark, certainly not going to have ignition. We're not going to be able to fire that engine over. Pumps turn. Pumps were cool to the touch. You could hear them spinning, but nothing would come out. My guess is we have a plugged filter, I'll show you the other and. But let me tell you what I've done so far. So we've already taken off the positive and everything because we were jumping these things. But now I'm going to take off the negative. I'm going to separate everything, and I just want to keep everything as is. So I've labeled each pump. So this is the ground for this pump, and this tells me that this is the plug here that plugs to this pump. Okay? So that's the first thing. So I'm going to end up taking this out. But now let's go take a look at the nightmare. Okay. You see that hose up there? Do you see there's a square, well, not a square, but it looks like a socket would go over it, but it can't because it's hitting. See that? You couldn't put a socket on that. I've already changed this hose, and matter of fact, I did all this. All this is all new. Every single bit of it's new, or was new. I even think I did the accumulator. 8mm nuts there, and then on the other side there are 2 more. Those 2 right there. That's it. Those 4, and of course your fuel line. The first thing I need to do is pinch this off. You see this right here? This here is shrink wrap, and that's to, make these teeth softer so they don't mess up your hose. I would say I got it. Next, I'm going to put a pan underneath here, and then I'm going to take out this Phillips. I say get it nice and loose because you're going to need as much room as possible. So if it can't slide over that, you're not getting it off. There we go. I'm going to also remove these. All right, so it's a 17mm on the side of the pump side, and it's a 14mm on the line side that goes up towards the front. I'm using flare nut wrenches so I can get a good grip and easily, hopefully, take it apart. There we go. That's the beauty of these. Oh, I gotta get another pan over here, Jen. A little drip came out, but I got a pan underneath there, so nothing to worry about. All right. It's all disconnected from the vehicle, so now all I have to do is remove those 2 nuts on each side. Again, it's just 8mm. So far, just a nut, and that's it. So this one here, I'm not going to take out all the way. I'll get it to where I need it. This way here, I'll take it out when I'm ready to take it out. Let's go get the other 2. Got a bucket here, or big old pan. I'm going to go to the back side, which you can't see, I don't think. And I'm going to take out that 1 nut that's on that side. Now I'll get this one. go. And now let's see if it just... All right. Well, we have some fuel. Interesting. All right, I just want to tell you that a 1/2-inch copper pipe fits in this tube, and I already had the same size, 14-inch or something, or 14 millimeter, I think. I'm not quite sure, but it fits over the 1/2-inch pipe, and then I have it down and it goes into this bucket. Not much coming out, so you know, maybe it's plugged. I'm gonna let that continue to drain. All right, so this whole thing should actually just come right out. There we are. And into my bucket. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm gonna back flush it this time. We'll see if I can get it to go in there. I want to put my hand on here. I don't want any fuel in my face. So this is the fuel pump assembly, basically, is what I'm going to call it. This is your fuel filter, your fuel pumps. The fuel comes in here, goes to pump number 1, pump to 2, into the filter, out of the filter, and into this black pipe, and then up to the front. What happened is we got fuel to come out of the strainer, so we had fuel coming to here. When I try to blow air through this line here, I can't blow. And these filters are easy to blow through. So something's plugged up here. I assume it's this. I'm going to take that off to start with. And that's a 17 millimeter is what this is here. And then this down here will require 2 17 millimeter. I think to start with I can just bang this one real quick. That's good enough for now. Let's go ahead and come down here. I don't think I can just hit it either because of the weight. There it is, I got it. Fuel is coming out this way, but well, fuel's coming out that way too. So the fuel filter might be good. I don't know what's plugged here. We will see. I'm going to start to loosen the bracket so I can pop this out. I bought new crush washers and all that, so I'm not worried about any of that. I might as well break this other one loose too before I start taking it all apart. There we go. There's that one. I got it. All right. So, pay close attention to how this thing works. I'm just going to take some pictures, better pictures, now that it's out. You know, the orientation of the clips and everything, so that way there I just put it back the way it belongs. And I'm going to mark each pump as rear and front, just to keep it straight. And then we'll test the pumps, and we'll see if this thing's free. Something's not allowing that fuel to get up to the front. Loosening this will allow this to remove. So it's a 3 millimeter hex, at least it is on mine. It would blow out this way. It's got the arrows. So let's see. I can blow through that. So that's not the problem. This is the wrong fuel filter. I mean, it works. I don't know why. Because I'm the one that did this. There's a reason why, but it's not the right one. This one here is for a 380, I think, but it's identical. Maybe that's my problem. The pumps just don't want to work. I don't know. So far, it's none of the things that I thought it was going to be. Watch, I'm gonna blow through this one end here. It's plugged. It's plugged. I cannot blow through this. I really believe you should be able to blow through this pump. If you don't know, this has got these little nuts that are closed nuts. And it's on both pumps like that. And then you have your crush washer. All these crush washers are the same part number. Make sure it's nice and loose. If I can slide this pump out a little bit, then we can just get it out. So I have it loose, but may not be loose enough. So this has a lock washer and a nut. That's it. There's a spring inside there, which could get dirty. A little bit of fuel came out of there. That's pump number 1. Let's set that aside and see about this one. I believe there's a total of 6 of those crush washers altogether. So this has a nice little case on it, which we're going to keep. There we go. That's that pipe, so I can clean that up, obviously. Don't have to buy a new one as far as I can see. This one here happens to be a Phillips. I would think you should be able to blow through this. I don't know what you guys think, but I'm probably stupid. These are some kind of check things. Could they be plugged? Yeah, you really can't see in there either. It's Bosch. It says Bosch on here, you guys. So these are Bosch pumps. I'm surprised. So here are the fuel pumps. As you can see, they came from Pelican. They are Bosch. Pump number 1. Pump number 2. Look at the total for this, you guys. It's not real. It says $287.42, but that's not true. The total, not right. The unit price is $91.07, so it's $182.14. Down here, the actual amount billed is correct. Weird. Very, very weird. That's the part number. 2 of them. There's your new check valve. So the first thing I'm curious about is whether or not I can blow through it. I bet you I can't. It could have something to do with the check valve as far as being able to blow through it. I do know that this was all broken in the other one. And I could see down, you guys really couldn't see, even with my scope, I could barely kind of see in there, but I could see that it was broken, obviously, you saw that. So, that's the check valve. These check valves are about $15 to $16 each. I paid $90 for everything. So, I figure if this was part of the problem, that I still had to remove all this, and if this is gummed up, then, it's not doing very well in here either. But you could hear the thing turning, but it just wasn't pumping anything. Interesting. All right, here I go, guys. Nope, you cannot blow through it. Kind of what I suspected. This I want to take and I want to put it on exactly the same way it came off. These are the exact same pump and model number and everything. Everything is identical. Yeah, it'll go right about there. For now, I guess I can leave this on here and even that. Either way, I had to replace them. Same thing, I'll take this thing off. So you'll notice there's like a little beveled end on this side compared to this. This is just a straight edge. That bevel goes up and then it's for that actually and stops like that basically. Position of that. So there it all is. I've kind of cleaned up the brackets and everything. It's all ready to go. These are the new pumps. All these hoses are good. Well, not really. This hose is hard. I have new hose for this. I actually have new hose for this, but there's nothing wrong with this. I'm going to leave it as is. And same thing with this one. Nothing wrong. Nice and flexible. All I got to do is just put this thing back together and get it back in the vehicle. This last one right here, I have on order. It's supposed to be here tomorrow, I think. So this is the first thing that needs to go in, but I'll assemble all this and go from there. See if I can get it in this way here. You can see how that fits into this. And of course we're not going to connect it yet, or tighten it I should say, but I am going to set it in there. Nice. That'll sit in there and I'll get the other part. Do you see those nicks? The little cuts in there? Look at that big one. And this even had this plastic cover on there. You know, I had no idea until I'm ready to assemble it. Right? So now I got to go back to the dealer, see if they'll exchange it. Otherwise it's going to cost me $50. This side's fine. I looked at that one and I pop this one and get ready to install it and bam. And they're deep. The sealing ring here is not going to seal it. That's the part number for the sealing rings, and there's a total of 6 of them for this assembly. Right? You have 2 on that one and then 2 for each pump. I'm off to the dealer. Let's see what happens. This is the new one. And you can see, other than just machining, you see some of the chatter that they had. You see those little lines like a washboard? That's chatter when they were making this. Nothing wrong with that. There's just a little bit of a scratch there, but that will seal just fine with the copper seal. But believe it or not, you guys, this is the 4th one. And I showed it to him, and he says, I don't see how that's possible. And he goes and pulls one, right? He pulls the one that he took out for me. And it's worse than the one I brought in. And then he went and got 2 more. And all of them were all scratched up like that. So I went back to my local dealer, which is in Gilbert, Arizona. And he didn't have any in stock, but he ordered it. So anyway, now that we've got the filter, it's time to put this together. So pretty much just pick up where we left off. This will go onto this banjo, this will go onto that banjo, and then there's another one that comes up through here. We'll put that on in a second. And then I want to bring this together. This is a lock washer and a nut. Of course, we're not going to tighten it because we need everything kind of loose, but I am going to snug things up. The next thing I need to do is start taking these things off and start assembling it. There's the part for this one. These are already here. 1, 2. And this. You need a crush washer on each side, or sealing ring, whatever they call it. One on that side, and then one on this side, of course. You guys all know that. Good enough. Same thing. One on one side. And we'll worry about the orientation of this when we get down there. That's another reason why we got them nice and loose. Good enough on that one. One in here, like that, and throw on your cap. That's all you got to do to start with. We'll take care of that in a minute. Like I said, everything I just want to kind of get it on, but nothing too much to start with. I want to tell you guys that this is very, very pliable. It's very, very flexible and everything. There's no need to replace this. But like I said, I can completely squeeze it. It's not puffed out, none of those types of things. It's a good part. The accumulator is nothing more than a diaphragm, and this thing costs $300. I'm not sure if I replaced it back in 2006 or 8, right around there, between 2006 and 2008 or not. I don't know. What I can tell you is that diaphragm is intact. You can just test it with a pump if you want, a little hand pump, or, you know, anything. really. And no fuel should leak through here, all right? And I've tested that as well. So as far as I'm concerned, the accumulator is just fine. Getting this onto these pumps is not easy. Make sure everything's nice and free. All right, here's this next part. This is a 14 by 22 millimeter. This is pretty much what they want to sell you today. It's also 14 millimeter, but it's much more flexible and it's thinner walled. They're both coated on the outside with this cloth, but do you see the difference? I may have replaced this before, and this is actually the 14 by 22. With that said, this hose is not. I want to replace that hose. Let me set this aside. This hose is hard. I can't, it would break, okay? I have that hose right there, and that's how it should be. All right, let's see how much we need here. So the way that thing goes is like this onto this pump. Just a little petroleum jelly right there. Does it go in here like this? Yes, sirree, Bob. There we go. Do you guys really care if you see me do this? Because it's so awkward. Next is the fuel feed line. So this is a new genuine Mercedes, and this is an old genuine Mercedes. There's quite a bit of difference between the two. You can see that this one here was that anodized looking material, and this is like the newer stuff that they've been doing. The material is different. This is the braided type of line, you know, the ones that fray and everything. This is more like a wrap of some sort. Made by the same company, but it's wrapped differently. But I don't want to just cut it the same. I want to go ahead and dry fit the pumps. It's very easy to do. And then we can make sure to get everything aligned there and tighten that all up. I want you guys to take a real close look at how I have everything oriented. I don't know which is best for you, but it's important. You see where each pump is and how each pump works. So this is that fill tube, and it goes on to that pump. I just want you to see how I have things oriented. Hopefully all this, you know, I'm showing you guys everything you need to see. That's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to snug it up yet. I'm not going to create that seal. I'm just going to let it hang there. I'm going to bring the pumps and see how they feel. I was just comparing it and realized, you know, it's probably exactly where it was. So good measurement. The way that I cut this is with one of these. This is for PVC pipe, but it's so nice because you can line up your line on your blade and you push it up towards the top. Now it's just a matter of, you see where it is? It's perfect. Ta-da! Makes a perfect cut. And now you have some left over because this is that same stuff. If you wanted to replace that one pipe, this is what I would do instead of purchasing that 14 millimeter. You don't need to see this, do you? Perfect. I like it. 19 millimeter. See, I can be a little bit tighter. I don't know. It's pretty tight. Okay, here's that. Now I'll tighten the fuel line. On the pump side, this side here, this is a 17 millimeter and the other side is a 14. The 14 millimeter is the one you turn. This one here you keep stationary. There we go. All right. You know, I really liked this pipe, the material of this pipe, and we had plenty, so I cut off a piece, and that's what we're going to use. Nice and tight. There we go. Nice. Now I want to address these. Originally, they were just a nut. I've decided to put lock washers on these 4 just to help hold it. So this line is the return line to the fuel tank. So that's the fuel tank right back there. Now I did a video on the removal of the fuel tank and the fuel tank strainer already, but I didn't have this hose. I was waiting on this hose. So it came in and I have this hose, but this is a return line. It's hard and brittle. Now next to that is this valve right here. And here's the part number for this valve. It's no longer available. But it has the same line as this. So it's exactly the same line, but since I can't get this, I'm not going to attempt to remove these yet. Not unless I can get this. This, like I said, this is a return line, so, or not a return line. It's a vent. So that's that thing that sits on the top of the tank and then it vents out. So that's what this is for. So it has to be just right. But some people, when you can't buy it, I think they're just linking the two. Just take one pipe from here to there. I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to leave it as is, but for now I'm going to remove this one here. There's that. All right, I'm going to cut this to length and install it. All right, you guys, I have put the fuel back into the fuel tank and I have it hot wired, and there's my power supply. Let's see what happens. All right, here we go.
Yep.
It is? There it is. There's the fuel. Should we try it again? Yep, I see it, barely. Too bad they can't see it. All right, there's the bottom of it, you guys. You see it filling up? You can see it. We have fuel. And wasn't that easy to do? You know, going behind the glove box and tearing out all that stuff and trying to find, yeah, you got to find it because it's not even easy to see. But find that fuel pump relay and then jump it? No, this is a lot easier. Get yourself a little power supply. You can use a battery, obviously, and that works just fine. You know, there's a lot of tests and things that you need to do where you can't turn the key on to do it. And that's going to be this first start. I hope you guys join me this coming weekend. So you see this? It says fuel pump. And it says front. That's this guy. And this is the ground for that one. And then I have the same thing on here, just the way that I marked it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on the grounds because I'm going to leave this disconnected, right? Because of the first start. There's dielectric grease I've put on there, and I've cleaned the terminals. And I've put dielectric grease on there. That's just what I do. get it kind of on there a little bit. A star washer and the nut. It's 8mm. Nice. Grab the ground. I did put a little bit of that dielectric grease on the inside of that boot, but these are pretty tight and they're nice. Isn't that great? Really? This car's a 1987, this vehicle? I would say even this harness has been changed or something. Whoever had this before me took really good care of it. That's all there is to it. All right, I'm leaving these disconnected, and I'm also going to leave this off just for now. You know, I hope you guys don't mind that I do that, because we got the first start coming up. That's right, it's going to happen this Saturday. You already know in the early part of this, but I'd like you guys to join me for that. You know, I think it'd be a great event. You know, I've got a buddy of mine coming over. He's a local celebrity. He's a lot of fun. He's my best friend. So he's going to help me do the live stream, and my wife, my daughter. It'll all happen this weekend. It'll be kind of fun. When who knows, maybe even someone else might stop by. All right, you guys, I'll see you on Saturday. Thanks again for watching.